and welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. My name is Andy, sometimes Mouse, and I talk about books and book-related things, and today I am giving you my Clear Your Shit 2.5 TBR. If you don't know what Clear Your Shit is, it is the readathon that Art and I co-run, and we've been doing it now for 2.5 years, which is why it is the 2.5 edition. All of the information about that can be found down below, and I will try and put a card or something about like where the announcement video is, so you can watch the announcement video. I think that the link to the website does a really good job of describing the entire readathon if you've never participated before, so take a look there, join the Discord, have fun with us. Anyway, this is going to be my TBR for that, as well as my TBR for the entire month of June. So let's go ahead and get started talking about it. Some of them are books that I physically own and some of them are not, so it'll be a mix of me putting pictures here, me holding a book up. Fair warning. Also, second fair warning, you hear animal noises, it's because I live in a zoo and I don't have any control over them. They've been quiet so far today, but we'll see what happens. For the prompt, Walkman, read a book that you've been avoiding the longest. We have An Unkindness of Ghosts by Rivers Solomon. I really like this author. I like this author's sort of horror-esque writing, so this book is about odd-mannered, obsessive, withdrawn Aster, who has little to offer folks in the way of a rebuttal when they call her an ogre or a freak. She's used to the names, she just wished there was more truth to them. If she were truly a monster, as they accused, she'd be powerful enough to tear down the walls around her until nothing remained of her world, save for the stories told around the cook fire. Aster essentially lives on a ship that transports people to this like paradise place, but it is very akin to the antebellum South, and Aster and the other sharecroppers that are like her are treated with indignity and that kind of thing. And Aster finds out that her mother's suicide is linked to the former sovereign of this ship, Matilda, the ship. And so she then goes on this journey to try and figure out what this is. I've had it on Audible for quite a while. It came with the Audible, like how they're like, you have this book and it's for free and you just add it to your library. Came with that. And so that is why I'm reading it, because I just have not had an opportunity really to get around to it yet, and so this kind of just makes the opportunity present itself. Then we have Breakfast Club, read a book with food themes or items, and I have picked Fangs by Sarah Anderson. This is a graphic novel about a werewolf and a vampire. Obviously they're gonna be eating things, people or otherwise, I'm not really sure yet, but this was the only book that I had on my list that I felt like it actually fit into this prompt, so I have chosen, I'd read you the descriptor, but I basically just explained it to you, so what more could you need, you know? Then I am reading, for the next prompt, it is Girls Just Want to Have Fun, read a book with multiple POVs. I do want to disclaim that there has been some I didn't know this until after I was gathering this data for the TBR. I had already purchased this book, but some people disagree with the way that the cover looks. I am not in a position to speak on that or have the nuanced conversation that that specific topic would require. So if you are curious, you can look at the reviews on Goodreads and come to your own conclusions. That is going to be Abolition for the People by Colin Kaepernick. This is a stretch about how this fits into the prompts, though. I consider it multiple POV because it is multiple different letters and articles and stuff by different authors. So I'm considering it multi-POV. Does it count as multi-POV? Anything counts if you want it to in my readathon. That's the best part. So I said it counts. Then we have Nintendo Entertainment System. And for that prompt, it is read a sci-fi or book with technology in it. I have chosen Seasonal Fears by Shannon McGuire. That book is the sequel to Middle Game, which I will also be reading this month. And it is a different story than Middle Game, but I've been avoiding it. I have it as an audiobook, and I've been avoiding it because I am afraid that I won't enjoy it as much as I enjoy Middle Game, and I'm going to be super fucking sad about it. So I've just been avoiding it because I didn't want to be sad about it. And that's it. Like, that's the only reason that I haven't been ready to read it yet. So yeah, anyway. Next we have Read Polaroids, read a book with characters on the cover, and I am reading Witchlings by Claribel A. Ortega. I pre-ordered this book. It came with this cute little card. I think I showed this in my last video, but it came with this cute little card. I'm very excited about it. The mailman shoved it into the mailbox and I was really afraid that it was going to be damaged, but he didn't. This book is about 7 who is a 12-year-old witch, and every year this town of Ravenskill gathers all of the witchlings and they participate in this black moon ceremony, and they are then placed into covens. However, Seven does not get placed into one of the five powerful covens. She gets placed into the spares. The spares are weaker and they're smaller, and there's not very many witches that show up to that end up in this coven. And so when the girls that are, or people, I don't know, who are chosen to be, I assume these folks, because there's just two of them, go to do the ceremony to bind themselves as sisters and become more powerful, it fails. So they're going to be stuck as witchlings forever. So the only option is to take up the impossible tasks and help each other out to succeed at these impossible tasks, and if they don't, they will then turn into frogs. So I'm very excited about this. It's a cute little middle grade, it seems like, and I have high hopes. I try not to have high hopes most of the time, so we'll see. Then we have Care Bears, which is Read a Comforting Book, and that would be Middle Game by Seanan McGuire. It may not be comforting for you, it is comforting for me. This is one of my comfort reads. This is going to be a reread, obviously, for like the 11th time. I've read this book many, many times. I enjoy it every time, and it is one of those books that kind of gets better as you continue to read, as you read it over and over again, because things just sort of click into place more. Also, funnily enough, Art bought this book for me a year ago this month for my birthday. Thank you, Art. I am hyped about it. I am nervous about seasonal fears, but I am always pleased to reread this book and make an excuse to reread this book. Then for Manic Monday, read a book you can finish over the weekend to avoid a Manic Monday. I have chosen These Deadly Games by Diana Urban. This is not necessarily a short book, but because it's a thriller, I am very likely to finish it over a weekend. This book is about Crystal Donovan, who gets a message from an anonymous message, and in that video it has imagery of her sister being tied up, and they're basically like, play our game or she dies. Thanks. And so she goes to play the game, and it seems innocent enough until the tasks start to seem like she has to start doing things that will kill her friends, and she's not sure why this is happening, and she has to keep playing because she doesn't want her sister to die, but she needs to figure out how to like outplay this kidnapper, because everyone will die if she doesn't. Then the next prompt is Rainbow Brite, read a book with LGBTQIA+ representation, and I have chosen They Drown Our Daughters by Katrina Monroe. This could be a horror book or it could be a contemporary book, and I think it's going to be a contemporary book, and I'm going to be upset about it. I talked about this book in my queer books that I'm excited about coming out for the rest of 2022, and then literally after I finished filming that video, I was approved the ARC for this. So this is an advanced reader copy that I will be reading, but I do believe it comes out in June. It is about Cape Disappointment. It says that it's haunted. Our main character, Meredith, is returning. It is her childhood home, and she's returning because she just had this divorce with her wife, and her daughter is coming with her. Her mom has Alzheimer's and is convinced that everything is haunted, and Meredith is worried because her daughter keeps hearing a call from the ocean, and apparently there's this like generational thing, and if Meredith doesn't get to the bottom of it, like everyone's gonna die in the ocean or something like that. That's kind of the gist of what Goodreads said about this book and what NetGalley said about the book. The only thing that I have concerns about is they were like, talked about hauntings, like paranormal hauntings, and then also like grief hauntings, and I'm like, boo, boo. I already have grief. I don't need to deal with it in a book. I don't. Thank you. Then for Free Space, I am going to be reading another arc, which is Boys, Beasts, and Men by Sam J. Miller. This is an anthology of short stories about queer boys, beasts, and men, but mostly like people who identify as male is the gist of the stories, and it has some sci-fi, some fantasy, some horror, just a bunch of different concepts in this short story compilation, so I'm kind of excited about reading it. It was given to me a while back, and I think it comes out in June as well. I just am just now getting around to reading it, so that is why I am including it in this TBR specifically for Clear Your Shit, because that is one of the things that I need to clear my shit for, is getting my arcs back in order so that I'm not reading things that are just now coming out. I try really hard not to do that, but then they'll like approve something a week before it comes out, and I'm like, why? Next, we have the Queer Book Crew pick, which that has not been chosen yet, so I will, if it has been chosen by the time I edit this video, I will put it here. If it has not been chosen by the time I edit this video, I will put it in the description box down below when it is decided and whether or not I will be reading it. Because we do this on a voting system and I try to record these videos ahead of time so that I have more time to edit. I don't always know when the book choice is going to come out. So the next book I have is the art recommendation book, which is Zachary Ying and Dragon Emperor. Nope, Zachary Ying and the Dragon Emperor by Ziran J. Zhao. This is Ziran J. Zhao? I'm struggling today. This is a middle grade by the author of Iron Widow. I loved Iron Widow, and so I'm very excited about this book. Zachary is just this average kid who hasn't learned a lot about Chinese history, which is a shame because he is apparently chosen to house the spirit of the first Chinese emperor for a mission, and it's important, and instead of actually possessing Zachary's body, this spirit ends up possessing his VR helmet or headset, and so these demons get away with getting his mom, and it's a whole thing, and so he's, I'm guessing, running around with a VR helmet on listening to this Chinese emperor. I don't know. It sounds really fun to read. It sounds really fun, and I'm excited because Iron Widow had its moments where our main character felt like she was talking in a different language than anybody else, like more our era slang and verbiage and memery. Like sometimes she sounded like a shit poster, which was weird in the era that this book, the way that other characters were talking, it just didn't line up, and I felt like that was strange. So I think that if the author carries that over to this middle grade, I think that it will actually translate much better. So I'm very excited about it. I think this is already on a New York Times bestseller list, but I also think you can pay to be on that list, so I don't really know how that works. It's none of my business. So yeah. Then I will also be reading A Tropical Fish Yearns for Snow, Volume 8 by Makoto Hajino. This is a manga and I own all of the rest of them, and so I'm just very excited to continue this series. It is about Kanatsu and Kayuki, who are two girls just going through life, and it is very sweet. It's just kind of a sweet series, and that's why I like it. It's allegedly queer, but I have yet to see anything more than the power of friendship, intimate platonic friendship, and that's fine. I just am feeling a little bit misled, but it's still regardless a very sweet story and one of my favorites because it is so sweet, so I'll give them that. That is my TBR. It is only 12 books, and I recognize that is not a very big TBR for me. It is because I will be starting my new job at the same time as this, and I do not want to be overwhelmed by trying to manage both, and I don't know how much time I'm going to have to read. So with that knowledge, I tried to plan things in an effective and smart way. Is that what's gonna happen? I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll have tons of time to read and I will read all of the things that have ever been on my TBR. Maybe I will have no time to read and I will have to carry things over to July's TBR. I don't know. My biggest concerns is finishing things that are in my CLEARURSHT TBR, and beyond that, any of the extras I may or may not finish, and I'm not that committed to it, so. But I'll own that. I will at least own that. But that's it. That is my TBR for both CLEARURSHT in the month of June. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments down below if you're going to read any of these books, if you have read any of these books, what your thoughts are. If you didn't enjoy this video, let me know how I can make it better for you, unless it has to do with my opinion, which is subjective, and sorry about it. But again, if you liked it, don't forget to like and subscribe and share. Turn that notification bell on. It helps me out a ton, and yeah, I hope you guys are having a great day. I will see you guys again on Tuesday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time and Thursday 10 a.m. Central Standard Time every single week. Don't forget to take your meds, drink your water, and do something today to take care of yourselves. Okay, thanks, bye.